Hey, I'm back with another video on the channel, and today let's talk about whether the Z6III actually, in my opinion, needs a fan or not. Recently, the Canon R52 was launched with additional fan equipment. Of course, you have to pay extra for that. You have to buy some special new batteries for that. You don't have a fan on any of the Nikon Z cameras. I recently did a video where I compared the Panasonic S5 II with the Z6III, and of course, I mentioned that the Panasonic S5 II has a fan. And I found some people commenting that since the Lumix S52 has a fan, it's going to be a better camera when it comes to video recording. I'm sure the Panasonic is going to handle uh, high temperature recordings well and long durations of recordings well. No doubt about that. The question that I had for myself, what I wanted to sort of know for myself, is how does the Z6III actually does when in demanding situations. So right now where I am, it's about 33, some anywhere between 31 to 34 degrees temperature during the day. Inside the home, there is, in most situations, you don't have the AC on. So I just decided to kind of test that out. But before I talk about what I found with the test results, I should definitely tell you that I have been using the Z6III. I for a long time now. I mean, 1.5 months extensive usage. I did a lot of video shooting with it in NRAW, ProRes 10-bit. I didn't use ProRes RAW that much. I used NRAW high quality. I used normal 10-bit S265. I used ProRes 10-bit 422. So, and in all situations, I have mostly used either 4K 30 or 4K 60. So, in any of those real world situations that I was shooting, uh, I never felt a problem. The camera was hardly warm to touch at any point in time. I never actually experienced a hot card warning. I did, however, experience that when I was shooting the Z8 last year during summer. For a long time, I did experience hot card warnings for a few times on the Z8, but it never went beyond yellow. So I never had to sort of stop shooting even on the Z8. On the Z6III, in my experience so far in 1.5 months, I have never experienced hot card warning during normal my use case scenarios. So I wanted to test it out and push the camera, and I did it. I did it with two cards. One is this one, which came with the camera, by the way. Nikon in India is giving the AV Pro SE 512 GB. This card. With the camera for free without cost. So this was an interesting thing for me. This is not a very expensive card, so I wanted to find out whether how well this card does. So I actually recorded 4K 24 in high quality NRAW, and it kept recording till the card was full. For the first time for 1.5 hours, I stopped, took the card out, reformatted the card, and then I recorded again. And after about 45 minutes more, I got bored because I didn't even get any hot card warning. So I was like, okay, all right, fine. I don't need to sort of see it anymore. And next day I thought, why don't I actually shoot 6K 60 and see whether I get any hot card warning or hot camera warning or not. So this is a 500 GB card. I have, I think, a 650 or 680 GB card. I'll write the name of the card somewhere. And I'm actually recording on that card on my Z8. So I've had that card for a long time. It's quite an expensive card, almost $1,000 US. This is like what, 150 or 200. This one. So 6A60 each time. So it could only record 23 minutes of 6A60 in raw high quality. And I had to stop recording because the card was full. It was just quickly went into the menu and formatted the card and then started recording again. So I did that 3 times. There was one time when I actually saw hot card warning and it went to the red hot card warning signal. And then when I reformatted the card and I started recording it again, it cooled down to yellow warning. It stayed with the yellow warning for the next 2 rounds of recording, and each recording duration was 23 minutes. So in my experience, I feel it's kind of difficult to get the camera to stop recording because of heat. Now I obviously did it in within 35 degrees centigrade. Okay, now if it's 40 degrees or more, the situation or the response of the camera may vary. However, I can say that I'm very confident because look, I don't think people are going to shoot. People might, but I think the occasions when you shoot 6K 60 for a very long time is rare. I think the occasion when you shoot 6K 30 could be frequent. 4K 60 could be a bit more frequent. 4K 30 is going to be very, very frequent. 4K 24, that's the standard, what you shoot, that's the standard frame rate and quality that you shoot with in most cases. And ProRes 10-bit 422 HQ, absolutely no problem at all. NRAW, absolutely no problem at all. I shot these things with NRAW high quality, right? I could have recorded NRAW with normal quality. That would have given me even more sort of, it obviously would have been less stressful on the camera. I could have actually recorded the entire thing at 4K and 10-bit 422. That would have taken lesser data even, and then would have been an easier time for the camera. So I think in most situations, I realized that actually I never felt the need of a fan in this camera. So the processor is cooler, can run cool enough. The camera overall can run cool enough for Nikon to not feel the need to add a fan to the Z6III, which clearly is not the case with the S5 II or the Canon R5 II. Let me tell you one thing. One of the things about processors is that it is not just about how powerful it is. It is about how power hungry it is, and it's about how cool it can run. If you look at the M1, 2, and 3, and probably another 4 chips, the revolution happened because those chips can generate a lot of processing power, but without consuming a lot of actual battery power, and therefore without wasting and generating heat. So essentially, when you are generating heat, you're essentially not converting that energy into actual output. You're wasting that. It's an efficient system. Clearly, with my experience with the Z8 and the ZF and the Z6III, what we have in this camera is a very efficient core, very efficient processing unit, very efficient system inside these cameras, which seems to not actually need fans. Now, this makes me very, very, very positive about these cameras being able to actually take red draw as an update in future. I don't know what's going to happen, but yes, we all are expecting to see that. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I think this is a conversation on which I've seen this conversation happen a few times, but I haven't found people doing these tests yet. I did these tests casually. I didn't want to I didn't record the whole thing. I obviously have shown a few clips here and there. The whole idea was to just tell you what my findings are. If you're thinking of buying this Z6III, if you bought the Z6III, and if you're traveling to a hot country or you are in a hot country, the weather is difficult, don't worry about shooting what you need to shoot at, the frame rate or the codec. Just go ahead and do it, because I think the camera is going to do a great job. Don't think that just because it doesn't have a fan and it has got NRAW and ProRes HQ and all those very highly capable codecs doesn't mean that the camera is not capable of handling the heat. Actually, it just doesn't generate that heat, I guess, and therefore it manages long-term recording so well. So that's how I'm going to leave the conversation today. Subscribe to our channel, help me reach 6,000 subscribers soon. With your help, I am looking forward to making more content on this channel. Let me know what you want to see further. I'm shooting this with the Z8 and the 35 1.4. You're going to see a review on this very soon. Let me tell you a quick observation, and I'll do full analysis of this lens. A quick observation about the 35 1.4 is that I saw that there's a little bit of fringing here on the mic, which I actually didn't see happen on my Tamron 35 1.4, which is an F-mount third-party lens, which I've been using adapted to the Z8 for recording these videos for a long time. And obviously that was 40th year anniversary for Tamron. It's called Tamron SP 35 1.4. It's a fabulous lens. The only problem is I don't have it in front of me. The only problem is that with the adapter, it's almost a kilo. It's a bit heavy, which I don't like, so I kind of use it mostly in a kind of static position. This 35 is flexible, will allow me to be a lot really flexible. It's probably not as well controlled as the SP, the Tamron SP. Remember, that's a much bigger lens, many more elements inside. But this lens still surprised me. This lens is actually, I'm going to give you the full result in the next video. Comparing with the 35 1.8S, it's a very interesting comparison. I think there's a lot to learn about this comparison and about the choices to be made between these lenses. In fact, I'm myself considering to actually get the 35 1.4. I'm thinking, should I sell off the 1.8S and get the 35 1.4 or not? And it's a tricky question, and I'm thinking over this entire thing, and I kind of want to provide you with an answer and myself with an answer with my next video. So stay tuned, subscribe, see you soon.